Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, if I can have your, quick attention, a few of you have asked to speak to a NASCAR representative. Scott Miller is going to be available right now, at the NASCAR hauler, so if you will make your way to the Monster Energy Series hauler, he will be outside there, and we'll be there for a few minutes, and then we will also grab audio for those that may not be able to make the trip down. Also, one quick side note, for anyone who's concerned about going to hear Miller speak, but then miss Kyle Larson, know that we won't bring Kyle Larson until Miller is done speaking. All right, we're gonna start rolling here with our post-race media availability. Give everybody a few minutes to get settled back in after running out to the garage. So we've now been joined by our race winning crew chief of the number 42 Advent Health Chevrolet and crew chief Chad Johnston. And Chad, congratulations on winning tonight's Monster Energy All-Star race. Obviously, it's a good one to win. Take home an extra $1 million. Talk to us a little bit about the run tonight and obviously bring it home your first win of the season.
Yeah, it comes at a good time for us. You know, we've had a rough year. We've had a lot more speed than what we've shown in points, obviously, but haven't been able to string together any finishes until as of late. So we come off of a third place finish at Dover and a 7th place finish at Kansas, and with the exception of that in Phoenix, the only 3 races we haven't had issues. So to come here to the All-Star race and be able to take home $1 million is huge for us, and hopefully it's a kind of a stake in the ground for a turning point for us.
All right, we'll take questions for Chad. If you have one, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Who'd like to kick us off this evening? All right, we'll start over here with Jacob, go to Mark, and then Peter. Do you have a question? Nope. Okay.
Jacob Thielman, Speed Sport. Chad, obviously it's been a rough stretch for you guys over the last year plus not going to victory lane. How much have you had to do? What have you done or said to Kyle to help keep him from getting too down on himself and just keep fighting through all this to get back to the top tonight?
But we just keep plugging away and trying to find speed. Like I said, we haven't got the finishes we've deserved. Obviously we haven't had the speed we wanted. I feel like most races we've been 5th to 10th place cars, which isn't good enough, and we just keep plugging away at it. And he's a racer, so he's going to give you 110% no matter what he's got. And it's just up to us to figure out with this new package and everything what he needs to go fast. And obviously this weekend was a different package than what we've been racing, but it's still it's never bad to win, especially when it's for $1 million.
Okay.
Mark here. Mark Carroll, PRN. Chad, because you guys haven't won in so long, what was the initial feeling? Was it excitement that we won or relief that we finally won?
I think a little bit of both. Obviously, relief because we had a couple of good years there where we won a lot of races, and last year we got a lot of 2nd place finishes, and we're in contention to win, just couldn't close it off. So, like I said, any win's a big win. Obviously, this weekend's a little bit different because it's not point racing, but still, everybody's laying everything out on the line racing for $1 million. So it's I think more relief for me than probably excitement. But by tomorrow, maybe it'll be a little bit more exciting.
All right, additional question? We'll take one to Bob.
I have 2. Bob Hopper, Fox Sports. Chad, what does this do for maybe the confidence of you and Kyle and each other? I mean, it seemed, especially kind of after Richmond, that there might be some frustration.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to there.
Him taking the car to the hall, you're like, hey, come to pit road. He was like, and then he took it to the hauler because he knew it was.
Yeah, he knows better than anybody else. So it definitely couldn't be out there. We couldn't have fixed it. So he knows better than anybody. But I don't know if there's ever been any frustration between the 2 of us. I've got 100% confidence in him. I believe it's the same from him to me. We're just plugging away. It's the same group of guys that we won races with, and it's a different package and a lot of things different this year. We definitely haven't started off like we wanted to, but normally we start off pretty well and then don't end up finishing very well. So hopefully we're on pace to kind of hit our stride and get to where we're stringing together some finishes and competing for wins towards the end of the year.
And with the passing that we saw tonight, how much do you think will be replicated in the 600 or with the radiator ducts and the different splitter? Is there no correlation?
I think it's hard. It's really hard to say. I'd have to go back and watch the race because obviously for me, everybody else's comment on how easy it was to pass. I felt like when you run the open, you kind of have an advantage the first, especially with the first 30 lap run of being on track, knowing what to expect, being able to adjust on your car where the guys that are in the All-Star race don't have that. So it's a good time to take advantage of of that information and being able to gain some of the track position back pretty quickly.
And I have one more. NASCAR shared with us some of what they found in their study of the Talladega crash, that they felt the damage in the right front quarter panel, and it lifted more from the right side rather than it being rear lift. Is that what you kind of agree with what they were showing you? And is there anything, basically, that no changes need to be done to the cars? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think there's no arguing that the right side of the car came up before more than rear. The car was, at 60 degrees of yaw, and it was laid over on the left-hand side, and the right side skirts came off the ground, and it got airborne, and, it had pretty significant right side damage from where the 24 came over and hit us. So, definitely, I think that had a big factor in it. It's not for me to say, but yeah, I don't know that you could disagree with it. I think the encouraging part to me was how well the car held up, in the driver cockpit area. Everything stayed where it was supposed to. Our biggest concern was the mirror bracket got ground off. So to me, when you have an accident like that and to come out of it unscathed and only be worried about a bracket's a pretty big, attaboy for NASCAR and how safe the cars are nowadays.
All right, any final questions? All right, well, congratulations on your win. You'll probably enjoy this one a little bit, and then obviously get back to work in advance of next week's Coca-Cola 600.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, Kyle Larson will be joining us in just a few minutes. now been joined by our race winner, driver of the number 42 Advent Health Chevrolet, Kyle Larson. Congratulations, you're $1 million richer.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh man, it's after the year we've had, I would have not guessed that we would get our first win at the All-Star race. But I think the way that the format is, it and how crazy the race is, it kind of helps out us, and we always seem to run good this weekend. So it just feels like a big relief to finally get a win. It's been a long time since I've been to Victory Lane in a stock car. So and after being close to winning this race a couple years ago and allowing Joey to get by, it feels really good to get some redemption.
Notes before we go to questions. This is the second All-Star victory for Chip Ganassi Racing, and then also, Kyle, you become only the second driver to win the Open and the All-Star in the same night. Casey Kane is the other driver to do so. So we will take questions for Kyle. If you have one, please raise your hand, and we will get a microphone to you. Start with Jacob.
Jacob Zillman, Speed Sport. Two questions for you, Kyle. First, you noted it's been a while, September of 2017, I think it was. Chad spoke to it a little bit earlier, but from your side, what have you done over the last year and a half, where you've been close and had things keep beating you down, to not let yourself get down and just keep pushing for a result like this?
Yeah, it's this year's been different for me. I've never worked out before, and I've been in the gym a little bit more this year with Josh Wise, and just working out with him and being around him puts a lot more confidence and ease into me. I feel like I'm just more calm. I wasn't nervous at all that last restart, and I think partly of that is from just feeling like I am prepared, and also losing close races. I feel like I've done a good job of not getting stressed out. Even with me losing the Chili Bowl, I felt like I was really calm until the last two laps, and I gave the race away. And tonight I wasn't going to let that happen. So with those losses that I've had, you grow from each and every one of them. So hopefully we can continue this, and I feel like everybody becomes a better driver the older they get, but I feel like I've put more work and effort into it this year.
And it looked crazy out there, much like it did last year. How do you feel like the racing was different this year, and how do you feel like the cars drove differently, if they did, compared to last year's package here?
From what I remember of last year's package, I feel like you would get choked down a lot more on the bottom lane than we would this year. So that's really the only difference I can think of off the top of my head right now. It's been a while. Those cars were even slower than what we have tonight. But restarts were intense for sure. That's what makes this race so exciting, is it's short runs. People are going crazy. Even though it's a 20-lap run, there's still a caution or two in each segment because everybody's just going nuts. And so just having short runs like that, I think, really showcases this package. I felt like the first run, it got strung out. It would have been pretty impossible to pass, but the restarts were.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTires.net. Obvious question. I don't know what your cut is, but what are you gonna do with the money, man?
I don't know. I was joking with Owen today about what would you want me to buy you if I won $1 million, and I don't think he understands what $1 million is. So he didn't really have an answer for me. So I don't have any plans. $1 million is cool, but just winning is more than $1 million to me. And I think maybe we're just us drivers or NASCAR drivers are in a good place in our life. It pays. Prestigious event than the money. I'm all about trophies and big wins.
All right, Pete.
Kyle, I know it. I don't
perspective, but at Talladega, when I see you do what happened there, I just say, how do you come back from something like that? How do you get yourself in a frame of mind where a month later, you're sitting here talking about a victory?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because I grew up racing sprint cars and crashes happen, and I've flip I've ever had. So I don't get scared from it. It doesn't rough me up. It doesn't bother me. Thankfully I was uninjured, other than just a stiff neck for a couple days. So that also helps. Not get yourself psyched out. But really just. I think the issue, just penalties and things like that. I always think, if there's one positive to being in the B main, it's that you get that extra track time, and I feel like in that the first few laps, those guys that are in the B main can be really aggressive because they know the limits of their race car and stuff, and so you can see the four of us or whatever kind of be really aggressive and get to the mid pack pretty quickly. And then everybody kind of figures it out after that. But there is a slight advantage for the first 10, 15 laps, I think, of being in that race.
All right, go ahead.
Kyle, Pete McCall with AutoRace1.com. You finished second to Kyle Busch back in 2017. This year you won the race, and Kyle Busch pretty much used up his car trying to track you down. Does that make you feel good that you have a little bit of vindication on that loss in 2017?
I think it was the year before, actually, that was more of a bigger loss to me. I think it was. I was leading it. I had fresher tires than everybody. Got to the lead, and then Joey was able to track me down and get by me, and we just kind of played chicken with each other into one, and I got into the wall, and he went on to win. So that's the one where I feel like this race feels like I got some redemption back, because I felt like I was in an amazing spot to win this race then, and just didn't get the job. Remember how the race in 2017 went for me. I forgot I even ran second. I knew I've contended to win a couple of these, but yeah, we always seem, like I said, we always seem to run really well this weekend for whatever reason. My balance is just good, and then in the 600 miles we get really loose, or just I make a mistake, hit the wall. So yeah, hopefully we can keep this balance that we got with our car and be strong next week too.
I believe we had a question. There we go.
Yes, Michael Freer with the Independent Tribune. Kyle, can you talk about your approach to today? When you began today, you didn't even know if you'd be in the field, and now you come away with a win and $1 million. How was your mindset when you woke up today? What were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking we needed to get Owen to T-ball on time. He had his last T-ball game today. So I don't know, we were just pretty relaxed. It's cool, my crew chief's son and Owen, they're on the same T-ball team, so we were both there relaxing. Eric Amarola's kid was in the game before us, so it was kind of funny just to see, everybody's got big stakes, racing for big money, in a few hours, but we're all hanging out there with our kids for a little while. So I was pretty relaxed, but yesterday in practice, I knew we had a good car compared to the guys that were in the B main, and then so because of that, I feel like I had to be a little less aggressive in that race, just to take care of my equipment, to not dig myself a hole and get some damage where I couldn't contend to win one of those segments. So we were able to try and give it away a couple different times, but got it done, and I was getting a little more stressed out kind of each caution we had, just because I was thinking how it wasn't going to work out, but we were able to make it in, and the rest is history.
All right, we're gonna go upstairs to the press box.
Jim Mother, Motorsport.com. Kyle, have you been more frustrated this season because you felt that you have had cars and the speed capable of winning, or have you felt frustrated because you didn't think you guys were on par to some of the others in the field?
No, I mean, just more frustrated at the luck, probably more than anything. I don't even know if this locks us into the playoffs or not, but it's
It does
tough.
not.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry. Very bad news.
I was
It does
hoping
not.
you were gonna say it does. Don't we get like some playoff points though, at least? No,
No.
we used to. Wow, that sucks. But
But you
what
won
was
$1 million.
yeah. So anyways, it's tough to, you know, as I've learned in my Cup career, you know, aside from 2017, it's pretty tough to make the playoffs. You know, there's a lot of cars that are, you know, make it, but you know, those last, you know, 4 or 5 spots, you know, depending on what guys win throughout the season, it's tough to make the playoffs. So, you know, with the string of DNFs that I had and bad finishes, that's what was more frustrating, just because I knew, you know, we were just putting ourselves, or I know we were putting ourselves in a bad spot to, you know, make it to the playoffs, you know, where you have to be extremely consistent and just take what you can get, you know, from now on, where you can't almost be as aggressive as you could be if you had a fast car and were consistently running top 5 and things like that. So that's what was more frustrating. I feel like we've had, you know, I feel like Kansas kind of showed it last week. I feel like I've been like a 7th or 8th to kind of 12th place car all season, but I haven't got to show for it. And that's, you know, 7th to 12th isn't that great. You know, a week ago or a few days ago, I would say, you know, we can't win a race like that. But we proved today that we could. So we just got to continue to keep working hard and learning what we can. You know, making our cars better and faster and more grip, more speed, everything. You know, pit crew's got to be on it. I got to be on it. You know, if we want to continue to run up front.
All right, Mark, did you have a question? We'll take one last question from Mark.
Mark Arrow, PRN. Chad was in here, said it was a relief. You mentioned earlier, it's a relief. In other sports, you know, when a guy's in a hitting slump, he's gripping the bat too tight, he's trying too hard, gets a couple of hits, relax, and everything starts falling into place. Do you see that as potentially for your team, if this is the last full thing so you guys can relax, settle in, and do your deal and win some more races?
I hope so. You know, it's been such a rocky start, and we haven't gotten any momentum at all up until the last couple weeks, a little bit, and then today I hope, you know, kind of helps it. This is a great time of year for me to get a win, and you know, winning not only is important for me in NASCAR, you know, because it's, you know, what I make my living in, it's what I race for points and for a championship in, but this is the time of year where I start getting to race a bunch, you know, so you know, I'm going to be in a race car, I think, every day for the next, you know, probably almost 7 or 8 days. So this is a good time of year for me to get some momentum and, you know, get into my sprint car season, my midget season, as well as, you know, the NASCAR stuff on the weekends. So hopefully this will turn it into, you know, I can get some double-digit wins this year.
What's your schedule like these next 7 or 8 days? Where are you racing?
Yeah, I'm gonna race my outlaw car at Millbridge. You always do that on Tuesday and Wednesday. I think they practice there on Monday, so I hope I got some partying to do tomorrow, but I still got some work to do in my go-kart. And then I'll be at Charlotte, the dirt track, Friday and Saturday, racing with the World Outlaws, 600 Sunday. Then go to Lawrenceburg on Monday, and then I have a few days off, and then after Pocono, I think I do Fairbury with the Outlaws, and then a couple nights of midget week, and then we have our off weekend, and I race 6 nights in Ohio. So I get to race in a bunch here. This is a fun time of year for me.
All right, Claire, did you have a question? Okay, final question from Claire.
I know that Kevin Harvick's Happy Hours is coming up this week, and so I've been asked to ask you about Kevin Harvick giving you that push. I saw the back of your car. Talk us through that.
Yeah, it was nice for, I guess, the millennial car to, I don't even know if I'm considered a millennial still, but it was nice to have the millennial car give me a big shove like that. One of our social guys said I yeeted the millennial car, so I don't know what that means, but he does, so cool.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how was that push from Harvick?
Am I supposed to answer with emojis? It was fire.
Very well played. Well, Kyle, congratulations on your All-Star victory tonight. You'll be glad to know that inspection is all clear with no issues. You are officially
Awesome. Thank you.
declared the winner, so congratulations. Enjoy, tomorrow.